Critical care nurses are essential members of the interprofessional healthcare team. They must be prepared to respond quickly to patients at risk for catastrophic bleeding. The fundamental knowledge and skills required for this response include assessing the patient for bleeding, verifying appropriate vascular access, and initiating the massive transfusion protocol using a rapid infusion machine. Hi everyone, my name is Kate Soons and I'm here today to present my Nursing Education Capstone project. The purpose of this project was to improve the knowledge and skills of critical care nurses by creating an educational intervention about the activation of the massive transfusion protocol and incorporating a checklist to guide nurses through the protocol and use of the rapid infusion machine. The setting for this project was the University of Vermont Medical Center. The organization is a 562-bed academic medical center located in Burlington, Vermont, that provides primary, secondary, and tertiary care for all major areas of medicine to a region that covers the northern half of Vermont and the North Country of New York. There are two distinct critical care units, a medical intensive care unit and a combined adult surgical and pediatric intensive care unit. Nurses working in hospitals across the United States are required to complete a variety of continuing education modules each year to satisfy regulatory and accreditation requirements. As a result, there are many competing interests for nursing education. The critical care nurses needed an educational format that allowed for consistent communication of evidence-informed practice updates that was coupled with a hands-on clinical simulation guided by their peers that promoted teamwork and collaboration. A recent update to the Massive Transfusion Protocol, or MTP, combined with the newly acquired rapid infusion machine, established the need for this educational intervention. Moreover, for these types of low-frequency, high-stakes clinical events, nurses in the intensive care units have requested checklists that promote consistent quality care that is safe and adheres to clinical protocols. Two learning theories inform the development of this educational session: the social learning theory and the adult learning theory. During MTP, interprofessional collaboration and clear communication are imperative to maintaining the safe delivery of care. The social learning theory asserts that people learn through observation. Images of actual objects used in MTP, as well as videos from the manufacturer of the rapid infusion machine, provided the learner with opportunities to observe proper setup and function. The social learning theory also optimized role modeling from nurses who were identified as super users and served as near-peer mentors. Learning through observation was reinforced during skills reviews between the learner and the near-peer mentor. Finally, the concept of self-efficacy was bolstered by the encouragement of the super user, and this promoted active learner engagement. Elements of the adult learning theory were also incorporated into the educational intervention. Specifically, the training sought to establish motivation to learn and clearly stated the relevance of the training. Nurses were provided with self-directed online learning module that optimized distributive education resources from the manufacturer of the rapid infusion machine. These professionally produced videos were available online and viewed at the convenience of the learner. One of the benefits of the videos is that they were short and categorized according to tasks, such as setup, transfusion, and troubleshooting. Shilinsky et al. Asserted that electronically delivered learning modules alone do not promote the retention of didactic knowledge. Rouleau et al. Also described a variety of barriers to online learning, including decreased mastery of psychomotor skills and a reduction in social contact in an industry that relies heavily on interprofessional communication and collaboration. Therefore, the online learning module was reinforced by a peer-to-peer skills review completed on the home unit. With deliberate practice guided by a checklist and self-efficacy reinforcement from a near-peer mentor, staff nurses developed the knowledge, skills, and attitudes needed to initiate MTP and use the Belmont rapid infusion machine in the intensive care unit. The training highlighted 2 strategies that lead to improved adherence to the MTP clinical protocol: the go bag prepared with disposable supplies and the clinical skills checklist. At the time of this nursing education capstone project, the United States was entering a new wave of coronavirus infections with steady increases in the admissions of patients with COVID-19. Although not insurmountable, the outset of the education project began during warm weather with low infection rates and culminated with daily record infection rates. And as if every healthcare system was not distressed enough, the University of Vermont Medical Center suffered a cyber attack on Wednesday, October 28th that disabled all electronic forms of communication within the organization for more than 3 weeks. These events are significant to the experience of this student as they represented both challenges and opportunities for learning and leadership. As a result of the cyber attack, the target population of learners did not have any access to hospital computers while on shift, and email was extremely limited. To engage participants, this student reached out to critical care nurses via a unit-sanctioned private Facebook group and text messages via cell phone to enroll them in the educational session. 25 nurses were enrolled in the online training and using their personal email addresses, with more than 90% of them completing the training on their own time. 3 outcomes were identified in the project proposal. Number 1, assess the patient for appropriate vascular access for use with the rapid infusion machine. Number 2, organize the required disposable supplies to initiate MTP. And number 3, identify the additional staff and reference materials to safely initiate MTP. The Kirkpatrick model of evaluation was used to assess 2 levels of learning: the Level 1 reaction to the educational module and the Level 2 assessment of learning, which was accomplished by comparing scores from the pre- and post-tests. Overall, the feedback regarding the value and worthiness of the education experience was quite favorable. Nurses in my unit have expressed fatigue with online learning modules. However, the module that I supplied was narrated by me, a peer, short in duration, and included many visuals of our own work environment, all of which supported the adult learning theory by communicating the relevance of the training. The graphs of the pre- and post-test scores shown here demonstrate the improvement in correct responses. Analysis of the results and comments from the pre- and post-tests revealed 4 key opportunities for improvement in future education: the selection of personal protective equipment, the frequency of lab sampling, the co-infusion of blood products using a fluid heater, and the concept of resource readiness. Nurses demonstrated in their responses that they were unable to clearly identify appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, indicated for MTP using the rapid infusion machine. A review of the clinical skills checklist revealed that PPE was not addressed in any way in this guide. Moreover, PPE was not mentioned in the narrated PowerPoint presentation either. The concept of appropriate PPE was emphasized in the pre- and post-tests, but not reflected in the content of the educational intervention. The endpoint of therapy during MTP is determined by one of 3 clinical events: hemostasis achieved by procedure such as surgical intervention or interventional radiology, normalization of lab values, or patient demise. The frequency of lab draws is driven by the MTP policy, which is guided by regulatory standards, supported by evidence, and clearly indicated on the worksheet that is included with the first round of blood products. A review of the distractors that accompanied this question stem revealed that participants felt there were multiple correct responses that included the freedom to draw labs as needed. Although the narrated PowerPoint presentation addressed lab sampling frequency using the MTP worksheet as a visual reference, the clinical skills checklist did not reference serial lab sampling beyond the baseline set. Information from the comments section of the Level 1 reaction survey revealed that there is a conflict regarding how certain blood products may be administered during MTP. The manufacturer of the Belmont Rapid Infuser indicates that the system should not be used to warm platelets, cryoprecipitate, or granulocyte suspensions. During the research phase of this project, the same information was emphasized during interviews with the rapid response team. However, comments from multiple participants indicated that, quote, the lab has stated, end quote, that platelets and cryoprecipitate can be infused in line with the rapid infusion machine if the Y site is distal to the heat exchange unit. The MTP policy does not expressly state this, and the practice should be clarified within the official nursing policy. Finally, the concept of standardizing response readiness across all inpatient nursing units was suggested by this student as an opportunity to extend this academic project. UVMMC launched a nursing professional governance initiative in 2017 that provides a clear path for nursing practice improvements that are evidence-informed and support quality patient outcomes. A standardized go bag with accompanying clinical skills checklist could provide key reminders to nurses who seldom encounter the need for massive transfusion, as well as improve the efficiency of MTP initiation for the rapid response team nurses who respond to all MTP activations. All of these opportunities for improvement and future education should be addressed using the shared governance structure. Leadership roles can be formal or informal. My nurse manager and nurse educator are hired into their roles. However, everyone can serve as informal leaders and change agents. As a delegate to our shared governance structure, I have learned that I can be the catalyst for changing the nursing practice in my unit. As a graduate level nurse, I have learned the skills needed to develop a practice inquiry into a research question and work through the process to the end. The online education module combined with the psychomotor skills session guided by a near-peer mentor demonstrated two important local unit impacts. First, it is possible for a staff nurse to identify a continuing education need for the nursing unit and then research, plan, develop, and deliver a unit of instruction that meets that need. Second, the instructional support from near-peer mentors that included learner encouragement contributed to a sense of teamwork and true collaboration, which are essential to developing and maintaining a healthy work environment as identified by the American Association of Critical Care Nurses. The goal now is to utilize our existing nursing professional governance structure to standardize the clinical skills checklist and go bag of supplies for every nursing unit that maintains a rapid infusion machine for massive transfusion. As I reflect on the knowledge, skills, and professional values that I acquired during this graduate program, I am reminded of the documents that have really guided my practice over the last 4 years. The Future of Nursing, the ANA Code of Ethics, all of the different quality and safety education competencies, and finally the National League for Nursing competencies for nurse educators have all provided me with a pathway to move forward as an informal leader. The personal significance for this project was that I knew that I did not know how to use the new machine. And as a nurse of 12 years in the ICU, I had never had an MTP experience. So this was an opportunity for me to demonstrate the spirit of inquiry and commitment to lifelong learning, also a provision of the Code of Ethics, and show my peers that anyone can act as an informal leader and do the work to research a project that had evidence-based outcomes. I just want to take a second to say thank you to my family. That's my husband, Peter, my stepsons, Chris and Dan, my daughter-in-law, Rose, and my baby boo-boo bear, Thomas, who is also going to graduate from college this year, my puppy dog, Blackjack, and my grandsons, Lincoln and Preston, and my best friend in the whole wide world, Christine Margaret. These folks have been my rock and supported me throughout this 4-year journey, and I can't thank them enough. And I also want to say thank you to all of you, my colleagues. It has been a privilege to learn alongside you. Thank you.